Shalom Aleichem. We'll begin with Shalom Aleichem on page 24. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the Shabbat Angels. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Chasharim, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Chasharim, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. L'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zaytem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zaytem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zaytem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Another beautiful new melody. Every time Cantor Suzy introduces a new melody, I like it. And I wonder if that's because she has very good taste in selecting the melodies, or a very good voice in singing the melodies, or a combination of both. So that adds a slightly different dimension to the Shalom Aleichem. We're very familiar with one particular traditional melody. So who was the composer of this melody?
This says Brazil, but it was arranged by Josh Nelson.
I see.
Yeah, yeah. And it also says this was for this was for the Union for Reform Judaism, the 2015 biennial. So I guess he did that so that's special.
Yes, this composer has commissioned and also written many pieces specifically for the biannual gatherings of the URJ, Union for Reform Judaism. So we continue a nice welcome of Shabbat with the kindling of our candles on page 3. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Together, O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offering of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lechad likner, lechad likner shel Shabbat.
Our welcome of Shabbat continues still in the Kabbalat Shabbat mode with the singing of Lecha Dodi on page 20.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, nishvat kala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, nishvat kala. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, nishvat kala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, nishvat kala. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, hishmianu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shel tiferet l'tila. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, kiva orech tumi ori, uri, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela.
We rise and face the entrance to the synagogue to dramatize our welcome of Shabbat.
Boi v'shalom, ateret b'ala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola. Ot toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela.
We remain standing for our call to worship, the Baruch Hu, page 28.
Adonai,
Please be seated. On page 30, the Ma'ariv Aravim. This evening, let's read it and then chant the Chatimah, the last part of it, in the Hebrew, giving thanks for the cycles of light and darkness. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim b'chokhmah poteach sha'arim uvitfonah mishanei itim umachalif et hazmanim umisader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem berakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla גולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור ומעביר יום ומביא לילה מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב Aravim. And now from the outer world to the inner world of unending love, Ahavat Olam, page 32.
Torah ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, הייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת.
One of the brightest young Jewish composers is named Ilana Arian. And those who have been in confirmation class know our confirmation class song, I Have a Voice. One of her most popular songs is one of the songs that we have sung here. Some people call her the next Debbie Friedman. I wouldn't go that far. I think there was only one Debbie Friedman. She was a unique talent. But the next prayer will be sung to one of her more recent compositions, Ilana Arian, Mi Chamocha, page 40.
La
Is that arrangement popular at the summer camps? I can imagine a couple hundred youth singing it. It must be very spirited, very spirited.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Page 42, grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים.
השכיבנו אדוני
אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ושמור צאצאינו ובואנו לחיים ושלום לעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Page 44, the people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. I've never watched The Bachelorette. nor do I intend to, but I was reading in the Jewish Voice today that the non-Jewish bachelorette, one of the 4 finalists, is a nice Jewish fellow, and they were talking about their traditions and faith, and she, the non-Jewish bachelorette, said, "I'm looking forward to meeting your mishpucha," which means family, for those who don't know. And that's what we're doing in the next prayer. We're meeting our mishpucha, our extended family, going all the way back to the patriarchs and matriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel. So for this mishpucha prayer, page 46, we rise.
Adonai sefatai tivtach ufia ki tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imaot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol ata rav lechoshiach, morid hatal, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, sohomech noflim verofech cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot umidom elach, melech memit umechayem umatzmiach Yeshua, B'neheman ata lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim bechol yom yahalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. You may have noticed a beautiful full moon the last few nights with the clear air. You could actually make out features on the moon. I'm moved to quote from Psalm 8 on page 59. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us, we mortals that you take note of us? You made us little less than divine, adorned with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulecha na'eh lehodot. The next page, page 60, Shalom Rav. Now at the end of the Amidah, our thoughts turn to those of our loved ones in need of healing, be this a healing of body or a healing of soul. Every week we begin by remembering the hostages. You may have read or heard on the news that Israel recovered the bodies of 6 hostages, all elderly men except for one, this week, and brought those bodies back to Israel. At the same time, you may have seen a supremely powerful moment, the Democratic National Convention, when the parents of Hirsch Goldberg spoke. If you didn't see it, it's worth finding a clip of those few minutes on YouTube. So we continue to think of them as we approach 11 months of captivity. And as I come around now, if you would like to name a loved one for the healing prayer, please do so. מי שבירך אבותינו ואמותינו הוא ישלח במהרה רפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, ונאמר אמן. The expression Eretz Zavat Chalav Udvash, a land of milk and honey, comes from this week's Torah portion. you might be under two misperceptions. The first is about halav, milk. It almost certainly doesn't refer to cow's milk. It refers to goat's milk, which was the preferred milk in biblical times. And honey, you're probably automatically assuming bee honey. It most likely, the verse refers to the honey from dates, date honey. However, archaeologists have found now activity about beekeeping, even in ancient Israel. So there's a possibility it could be bee honey. Either way, it's an expression of gratitude for the blessing of the land. On that note, thinking about the blessing of our land, we pause for a moment of silent reflection. I do not typically speak about political matters from the pulpit unless there's a greater moral issue, a greater societal issue involved. Partially because I take seriously the law the IRS law that clergy should not endorse specific candidates, and if they do, they jeopardize the tax-exempt status of their institutions. Now, you probably are very aware that there are ministers and pastors around the country who regularly ignore that and explicitly endorse candidates from their pulpits, and they do so because there's really no enforcement of the law. Because think about the political firestorm that would erupt if the government attempted to enforce what clergy say and don't say. So you won't hear endorsements from me, and you have it in the past. Privately, I'm not shy about expressing my opinions, but not on the pulpit. You can do so with the fruit and cake downstairs. But I am going to speak about a political matter this evening because it certainly has wider implications. And it can be encapsulated in the title of a piece I read, did not write, this week, called "Democrats Have a Josh Shapiro Problem." I might have preferred that headline to be a question mark. Do Democrats have a Josh Shapiro problem? But the writer of this article in the liberal New York Times was very, very critical of Democrats. And I know it's right after the convention and the high and so forth, but we can't bury our heads in the sand when it comes to this. The author, James Kirchick, begins this way. One reason Kamala Harris is on the Democratic ticket is because of her identity. One reason Josh Shapiro isn't on the ticket is because of his. Now, there are legitimately many different explanations you can give for why a presidential candidate chose a vice presidential candidate, and I'm not going to comment on that. But he continues, the matter of identity has arisen again, but in a subtle but insidious way. In this case, the candidate in question doesn't possess an identity preferred by the left, but one the left increasingly views with suspicion. Now, this is not the first time, by any means, that I have talked about the anti-Semitism that is emerging from the left, the far left in our country. We've been talking about it since October 7th, because although it was an issue and percolated below the surface for years now, it has come to the fore in the months since October 7th. And I'll call it the far left, unfortunately sometimes called the progressive left, they let it be known in these last few weeks that if Josh Shapiro, the proudly Jewish governor of Pennsylvania and an alumnus of the Akiba Hebrew Academy in Philadelphia, which is also the school of Jake Tapper of CNN, they let it be known that his selection would inflame the left and that they would massively protest his selection. A writer for a left magazine labeled him, quote, and this hurts me to say it because it's so unfortunate, a genocide apologist. And a group of far-left congressional staffers and the Democratic Socialists of America, that's Bernie Sanders' party, teamed up to produce an open letter demanding that Ms. Harris say no to Genocide Josh for vice president. This is pretty awful. Josh Shapiro, like me, is a mainstream liberal Zionist. And his views are basically indistinguishable from those of the vice presidential candidates who were mentioned as finalists for the position. So why was he singled out as somebody who could ruin party unity when that wasn't said about the other candidates? It's a troubling question. One of the most vociferous voices against him, writing in the New Republic, said, "I'm aware that Walz and Harris have far from perfect records on this issue, but I think we are within our rights to highlight Shapiro's deep, lifelong commitment to Israel." That was the criticism. Well, if having a deep, lifelong commitment to Israel is a problem for somebody, that's concerning, especially when they identify themselves with the Democratic Party, with any major party. One commentator wrote, "It seems that anti-Semitism has marbled its way into the party. You can be for Palestinians without being an anti-Jewish bigot, but there are some anti-Jewish bigots out there. And there's some disquiet now, and there has to be. How much of what just happened is caving into the darker parts of this party?" Let me tell you, I was very, very glad last night, stayed up late to watch all of Kamala Harris's speech. When she got to the part on foreign policy, when she got to the part about Israel, when she said first that she will always stand for Israel's right to exist and to defend itself against evil. I was hoping that we would get one line, at least, from her to signal that the Democratic Party stands behind Israel, as it has, and has not been overrun by those from the far left. I'll tell you something. I have members of my immediate family, including two sons who I've mentioned before, who are so deeply disturbed by this that they are asking themselves how they or anybody else can support the Democratic Party, and their father has been arguing with them that the pronouncements of a minority should not be taken as a majority, but how the majority responds to, the degree to which it tolerates the minority view, is very, very telling. So for me, that was a crucial moment last night. And as a liberal Zionist, I believe that the second part of her statement was also valid in saying that the tragedy of innocent lives being lost in Gaza is indeed a tragedy, and calling for a ceasefire and the return of the hostages. One does not preclude the other. But when people, as I have mentioned before, launch into only criticism and seem to deny Israel's very right to exist, to defend herself, you begin to wonder whether that anti-Zionism has crossed over into anti-Semitism. I believe what we are seeing, even within the Democratic Party, is anti-Semitism, as well as anti-Zionism, which once we thought was the provenance only of the far right. And so Governor Josh Shapiro, who is an extremely popular governor in his battleground state of Pennsylvania, may or may not have been passed over by Kamala Harris in her right to decide according to many different criteria. But what unfortunately didn't happen was an undeserved attack from those to the left. The stakes are high for Israel and for America as we come through the election season here, and then the election season that's bound to happen maybe sooner than later in Israel as well. Holding a diversity of opinions is understandable and valid. But when those who claim that they're against racism and against discrimination then raise the banner that is racist and discriminatory, for after all, anti-Semitism is both, then we have to be concerned and raise our voices anytime we confront it. Shabbat Shalom. As we open the ark for the Aleinu prayer, the bottom of page 282, please rise. On this Shabbat, we now call to mind in love and reverence the Yortzeit, the anniversary of the passing of Herbert Schnitzer, father of Michelle Schnitzer, Lee Salworth, husband of Hilda Salworth, father of Kim Merlino, Jeanette Feinberg, aunt of Joan Rosen, Lillian Daphner, mother of Gerald Daphner, Gerald Wohl, husband of Miriam Wohl. For all those close to our hearts, for all those for whom there may be no one to say Kaddish, we join in the Kaddish prayer on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, be'alama divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'hayachon v'yomechon u'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach leolam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'troman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudisha brichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Ta'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromah. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. Please be seated. Our president is blessed to have his parents and two of his three children with him this evening. When I asked Bill what accounted for him coming to services in the evening, he said, well, Marshall's sponsoring the Oneg and I wanted to eat what he bought. Come on up, Marshall.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi, for all the thoughtful words and reminding us that what's happening is more than just what ends on November 2nd, but actually continues on. And thank you, Suzy, for the beautiful music and the new melodies. And Dylan, of course, thank you for streaming tonight's service. Just a few announcements. We're heading into the end of the summer and starting the new season. So just a reminder, Torah study starts on September 7th, on Saturday. That's at 10 o'clock? 10 a.m. And then the next day we have, on Sunday the 8th, we have school starting, the Sunday school, which will have an open house at 11 o'clock. And then that same day, later in the afternoon at 4 o'clock, we have our gathering in the garden. And then also on the 8th, 4 to 6. And then on the second Monday in September will be book club. There will also be poetry on September 8th. That's a blockbuster day. We're going to have poetry following in the garden. So everybody be here for that day. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We'll conclude our service with one of the classic songs of Shabbat, Adon Olam, on page 321. My note here says French. What does that mean?
Yes, this says French Sephardic melody.
French Sephardic melody to Adon Olam.
I feel like with, you were speaking, was it last week, about, or the week before, about the Sephardic melodies?
Yes.
Maybe we should construct a world tour Shabbat or something like that.
With melodies from all over the world?
About that,
yes.
Yeah. Okay, we'll figure that out, yeah. Adon Olam, Asher La'alav,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We have the soprano section over here.